Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
And we are, we didn't leave you with no content.
Yeah.
We gave you content while we were gone, but, we're back live now.
Yeah.
And by live, I mean still taped, but just a touch fresher.
Unless you're on Twitch and YouTube right now,
Yes.
which we are live.
Thank you, Sam, for reminding people that we do a live stream. Boy, am I awkward this morning.
We're always live.
Yeah.
Do it live!
Yeah, thank you.
It does take a while to get back into it because I don't talk that much on vacation.
Gotta give that voice a rest.
I was telling Maisie something about you that she didn't believe me. I said, there have been times when I've gone over to Mr. Tom's for a pool party, and he hasn't said one word. Not even one word.
Yeah.
Just by the grill, in the pool, playing with the kids, but doesn't talk at all.
Yeah.
It's just
most of the time I'm pretty quiet.
You communicate through your actions.
Yeah.
Boy, that would translate.
Yeah.
I talk in my head, though. I'm constantly...
Yeah.
He did give you guys a full Tom Van Stories episode if you guys didn't check that out.
Which I thought was almost Kenny level ego. Almost Kenny level ego on the
We'll talk to you later.
Almost Kenny level. I don't know who has the bigger ego. Is it blue and blonde streak in the hair, Kenny? Or is it Tom who makes his employees put together story shows? Put together a story show
all about me.
Yeah. That's like asking people to come to your birthday party dressed as you.
Ooh.
Oh, we're gonna talk to Kenny.
That's what I'm trying to. I'm just chumming the waters.
It does seem like it's a narcissistic thing to do, and then like I'm doing this because I want give them more Tom Van.
You did this to me for the Christmas special
That's
last
how he tested
year,
it
but
out.
they were all terrible stories.
Yeah. That's how he tested it out. He's like, I'll test it out with her first and see if people go, she's got the ego.
Well, all these stories are about horrible things that have happened to me or the orb.
Well, happened to you because of you.
Right.
These were things that just happened to me. Also because of you, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
Hold on a
It's
second.
two
Hold on
versions
a
of Tom's
second.
stories. It's Tom's stories and Tom's stories affecting Sam.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Wait till he gets to the one of mine.
I just
I got the
recommended
most
a mechanic.
empathetic emails after that show aired.
Yeah. What did you got?
No, they're not that bad.
The story show was good, though. I had a lot of great feedback of people saying they love it. I truly think I even gave you a compliment saying you were the finest storyteller that I've ever met.
I appreciate that. But,
And I believe that in my heart.
They're a lot better than me.
I've never met them, though.
Yeah.
So it still counts. You're still top dog. If my wife is beautiful and she's the only woman I have, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever married, right?
Yeah.
Because I've only been married one time.
Yeah. I see what you did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have new merch at tomandan.com.
We do. We have
a ton of new stuff.
Yeah, we have 2 new shirts on there that you can check out. We have new hats, cooling towels.
The summer bucket hat, the cooling towel, the Beachnik sand beverage holder.
Hey, that bucket hat.
My wife wants 2. She's like, I want that. And I'm like, I thought they were a bad idea.
Oh, is she going to put them on her boobs?
No.
I told you they're great.
Yeah.
I used them at the beach every single day we were there.
I mean, personally, I think they're stupid, but I want people to buy them.
Well, my point, I was like, in our demographic, most people are like bringing beach chairs and a bunch of garbage to the beach.
You're not bringing a towel and a cup holder.
Yeah, like Sam can get away with bringing a towel, and then she's like, because she doesn't have a pile of garbage, she drags to the beach in a wagon.
You don't have a bag.
I do, actually.
No, you do have that?
Yeah.
You have a bag of sandy toys?
Yeah, 2 chairs in my beach wagon.
Well, hold on. Then
Hold on. You go to the beach with a wagon. You're a young, vibrant woman.
Well,
you
bring
don't
a lot
need
of stuff. I got a Bluetooth speaker.
Don't you have a drink holder in your chair?
Yes.
Well, then you don't need...
But it's not convenient because you're thinking of like the camping chair.
Yeah.
Mine is like a pocket on the side, so it's not convenient.
Oh, for the remote or a magazine?
Yeah,
Nobody uses that. They show it in the commercial. Somebody sitting in a camping chair with a goddamn remote and a magazine.
Anyway, so buy this garbage.
Please buy our garbage.
I didn't mean to scream.
And then
get the cooling towel too.
Oh, also the T&D logo pattern tumbler.
Yes, which I don't
Keep
have
your
one of
drinks
those.
cold.
I don't have
either.
one of those. I don't have any of the good stuff. I don't have all of the bad stuff. I get sent to me somehow. That's not you, Eric. Eric is our merchman. He's awesome.
Speaking of Eric, he's going to be out at the Food Truck Fiesta on Sunday. Downtown Sanford.
I might try and hit that this week.
It's going to be hot.
It is going to be hot.
Yeah.
But you can pop in one of our watering holes and cool down in the AC.
Pop in the hot.
I will reward anybody who goes and sees Eric.
How do you get rewarded?
I will
We'll give you a brand new AK. Brand new gun.
I'm going to tell Eric to give anybody who goes and buys a piece of merch at the merch tent at the food truck fiesta, to give them one free piece of merch.
Or small pieces.
Well, hold on.
Yeah. Buy one, get one free.
What?
Whatever Eric wants to give them. I mean, it could be small, but it will be free.
Okay.
Just because I imagine it's not going to be that busy, because it will be hot.
It will be hot.
But listen, it's hot.
I'm used to it though.
Yeah.
I've been training myself in the garage. I sit in the garage with a smoker going. I have the smoker in the garage. I did it yesterday. I'm working on my scooter with a smoker going while I'm working on my scooter, smoking myself in the garage with my dog. It's 105 degrees in my garage. I'm training myself that way. If you train yourself, then when you go to concerts, when you go out around like family picnics and stuff, you won't be the fat guy that sweats a lot. You have to train yourself. You have to get out there, and you have to be in it.
You know what it is? It's all the stories about how it's the hottest, year in global history.
Well, everybody lied to me. They said Atlanta was going to be hotter.
But it's only like a half degree hotter than it was last year. So don't, it's not like last year was 80 and now it's 100.
You got to get out there in it.
It was 99 and now it's 100.
Record highs of all time ever since temperature have been recorded, including fish running out of oxygen in the ocean. And penguins are washing up ashore.
Listen, our world is
crumbling. It's crumbling.
But it's only 0.5 degrees hotter. It's not 10 degrees hot. It's only 0.5.
I'm just advocating for people to get out there. You got to get out there and sweat in it a little bit.
Yeah.
If you stay inside, it's going to make it worse for you.
Listen, Rogan pays to sit in a sauna every day.
He's the reddest.
Anyway.
So what do you want to talk about? You want to
talk about your trip to Atlanta real quick.
Well, everybody, I can just start with this blanket statement. Everybody in Orlando that I met, and most listeners said, oh, buddy, watch out. Atlanta is going to be more hot than Orlando. And I am here to report, and my wife and my child all agree. And I asked them, am I crazy? And they're like, well, you are, but you're right about this one thing. You're right once. It is not. It is not as humid. It is not as hot.
It's the humidity.
When the sun hits you, it doesn't feel the same way. I sat out back in a bathing suit in the heat. Fine. Perfectly fine. I stood outside in the sun in Atlanta. Perfectly. Didn't even sweat. I navigated the streets of World of Coke. Totally fine.
It's a swamp we live in here.
We live in a swamp. And it is us. It is not when you say it's hotter here, it is. It is. Is Atlanta hotter? No. It is not. Is the rest of the country hotter? It might be, but we are the hottest.
The humidity is.
We're just the hottest.
100%.
Hotlando.
100% humidity.
Way hot.
And 100 degrees. Too much.
Enough where Andrea and I had to stop commenting to each other about it for fear of becomoming old people. It was so good. The weather in Atlanta is so good that we were talking and we looked at each other and said, you got to shut up about the weather. Because we kept going, this is so good. This is so good. We've all done it. It's like when you're eating a meal and you're like, oh my God, this is delicious. She's like, shut up. Just shut up. You're going to jinx it. We got into the jinx zone where you're going to ruin it.
All right. Well, let's start with the drive.
Yes.
How long's the drive?
Okay. The drive is 6 hours.
Okay.
And I convinced my daughter somehow, some way I found her love language. And Maisie's love language is challenges. She loves a good challenge. This is why I think
be your daughter.
I really is. She is little Tommy, Maisie.
She likes challenges and money.
It's all she
loves.
It's all she loves.
She is more responsible and professional.
It's all she loves is challenges. So I challenge her to be a one-stop child. And what I mean by that is we're stopping one time.
Okay.
We're doing 3 hours. We're stopping, and then we're doing 3 hours.
All right.
That's what we're doing.
And she did it?
And she did it. And the dog did it too. So we were great. We did that coming and going. Traffic was fine. People drive like idiots. I just put it over in the right lane, went about 5 miles higher and just hit it. Not bad. 6 hours. One stop. Perfect.
Now, I'd like to scream, how could this be? But my sons, that's the one.
Oh, they'll do it. Yeah.
Well, they are like camels. They could hold their urine for, 8 to 10 hours.
Do they drink a lot?
It seems like they do. I don't know. I mean,
they do.
I don't know.
I've seen them. They're always like, I'm water. And they'll drink water, but then to pee.
For whatever reason, they can just hold it for an insane amount of time. Like,
is this going to turn into a situation like your brother where he ends up getting like a bladder infection?
I think I have that now. I've convinced myself I have bladder cancer because my grandfather died of it, and I can feel my bladder right now. I can feel the cancer in it.
So let me ask you, in the drive, because it seems like nowadays the driving with kids has never been easy.
And a dog. We brought Dansby, the West Highland Terrier.
The dog, it doesn't make sense with this.
You didn't even know he was there. He don't do nothing.
When you, like my sons, when I give them their iPads or whatever, screens.
For a split second, I thought you said when I hand them their eye patches. And I was confused.
When I give them screens, they can just look at it and remain silent
forever.
An indefinite amount.
Forever.
I've never tested it, but I'm convinced I could do a
test it.
No, I know the answer. I know the answer. It's the duration of the battery life of the device.
Yeah, but if it's plugged, I mean,
now it'll go forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Like I think they'd sit there for a cross country road trip and just look. I mean, they're hypnotized or addicted to it, and they'll never, they don't get hungry.
No.
They're just addicted to them. They're just staring at it.
And to the fact to even throw a little more gas on your point, to the point where if they're doing something getting fidgety and they're not on their pad, you can use it. You can remind them of it. Like Maisie was getting a little fidgety, waiting for that third. We're in the third hour, trying to get to the QT so we can take a bathroom break. And I'm like, hey, you haven't been on your pad in a minute. Oh, my pad. She'll go right back to it. Forget about she had to pee.
But that's bad. I mean, this is
it's
damaging and something.
Well, not abuse. I don't want y'all cut that out. Not abuse. It's a manipulation technique.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like we should make them just stare out the window.
It's no different. Oh yeah. Well, what you're saying is correct.
But then they get bored and start bitching, and so it's easier for me if I just give them the
dog helped because they talked a lot. Like when she wasn't on the pad, she was like playing with the dog. Like, look outside. Here's your toy. Like they were doing a thing the whole time.
But she just stares at a device the whole way up. And fine, right?
Basically, or sleeps or plays with a dog. There's 3 choices: iPad, dog, or sleep.
Yeah, my sons won't sleep in the car unless I give them nothing else. Like if we don't have a screen, then they'll fall asleep. And I'm like, I think
that's called the grandpa.
but this is natural. Like I think this, or it shows them how they can't live without the screen, so their brain just shuts off. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't like the other version that you just told us. A little scarier.
So you get to Atlanta. What do you do next?
Well, first I'd like to just comment on I avoided all Buc-ee's. We drove past Buc-ee's. I hate Buc-ee's. They're terrible. And we passed all of them, and they were just S shows. And I didn't know that Buc-ee's did not allow truckers.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Mm-hmm. But we ended up at a Love's, got there, made it to Atlanta. We get to our Airbnb, and it's in a little section of East Atlanta that was quite possibly the most quiet area of a big city I've ever been in. It's more quiet than our studio. It was the most peaceful, quiet little bungalow. Looked like my old house, like a little military brick bungalow, hardwood floors from the 1930s, big backyard.
Is it near the city?
It is. It's about 5 minutes from the city, but you wouldn't know it because in the area we were in, it's literally the most quiet Airbnb I've ever had.
All right.
Like silent, but absolutely awesome. And so we got there, and then we immediately went to Fox Brothers Barbecue, which is one of my favorite barbecue places. Hadn't been there in about 10 years, and boy, does it live up, man. It is good Georgia vinegar-based pork.
All right.
Just deliciousness. Almost brought you home some sausages because they make homemade jalapeno and cheddar sausages that Maisie ate. Again, she referred to them as Mr. Tom Snack and Sausage. It's your daughter, dude. I'm telling you, something happened.
So I'm curious about, because I saw the pictures on your social media, the Falcons training camp.
Yeah, that was the next day. So when we got in, we had the first day of just like, we got to get up early. Andrea's like, you got Falcons training camp first day. It's going to be really early, so I want to go to bed like relatively early so we can get up and take on the day. You know how my wife is.
Yeah, what time the camp start?
I think camp started, it opened at 7. You could get in at 8.
Okay.
Our parking lot opened at 7. You could get in at 8, and then it started at 9.
Okay.
So we got there. We had to drive about an hour because it's in like hillbilly land.
Yeah.
Training camp. It's like in this little area called like the Hogs Head training facility or something, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
In like real Georgia.
Yeah, you need to get away from the city to have the land to even do that thing.
And super nice, but the way that they got it lined up, it's
Flowery Branch, Georgia.
Yeah, Flowery Branch. And it looks like sort of like a college campus. They have the dormitories that the rookies and everybody stay at are literally 10 steps from the field. It's like if you come out of your dormitory and you're a rookie like Bijan, and I don't even know if he's staying there considering he would be a bigger celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're a nobody, if you're a nobody rookie, you're staying in the dormitories, and when you walk out, like you're right on the field. And they have 2 training fields, and then they have like a big facility behind it, and you sit up about 20 yards up on they have like a berm that they've
I saw the berm on your picture
that they've kind of dug out, and then they put like a big white tent over it. It's super nice. It's totally free. And it's amazing that this is a free thing. And and you and I were talking a little bit about this. But
I'm surprised that it's not more packed.
Maybe 100 people.
The popularity of fantasy football, and these players are now celebrities. I know they've always been celebrities, but now
I guess Bijan is staying there. Yeah, like Ghost says that a lot of the guys are required to do it.
Yeah, for when you first get in.
To kind of level the playing field.
Yeah. You can't come in as even, a first-round draft pick and have any sort of ego because that, frowned upon. Like,
you don't want to start off like that.
But so I'm just when you were telling me that not that many people were there, and I've known these like training camps are free to go.
Extremely comfortable for anybody. You know how like I hate crowds. I know Sam isn't a big fan.
Yeah.
Anybody in this room would have been like, oh, well, this is amazing. Like it was maybe 100, maybe tops 150, but people would come and go. It was very casual, laid back. They had a food truck. They had a merch store. They had air-conditioned bathrooms.
So, like, with the popularity of fantasy football and more young people playing fantasy, and like some stat came out about like younger people, more and more people are gambling. Especially with DraftKings and FanDuel being in more and more states. So it's like this is becoming, and then like the popularity of the show quarterbacks and all this. You know,
and they were like all out there.
Young kids would just want to go see these celebrities that they drafted in their fantasy football leagues.
I had a conversation with Drake London. I talked to him from me to you.
What'd you guys talk about?
He wasn't.
I talked about like his muscles and how dreamy he is.
You looking good, buddy.
Yeah, it's like I love the way you look. You're very attractive. No, but like it was weird that again, you're right. Like it was something that Andrea found, and Andrea's like, "You want to go to training camp?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's that cost?" She's like, "It's free. You just sign up." All you had to do is sign up and get your tickets online. Parking was free. You got shuttled over there. I got to meet a couple of players. Maisie got to meet every player.
They're celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know not that many people followed NFL like I do or like other people do, but if you're if you play fantasy football, you know Drake London.
Oh yeah,
and you've drafted Drake
girls
London.
Are screaming at him. There were like there were some like big black mamas out there yelling at him. Like it was awesome. Dude.
But you would think that it would just be a sought after thing to go to even see these people in person, and you think a lot more people would go to a free event where you could see the celebrities you drafted in your fantasy football league, right?
Now, granted, different days have different things. Like I missed the day, and I could have gone out there later in the week. Matt Ryan even showed up because I guess he's going to be an analyst, and I think he can't say he's not playing because he's still getting money or something. Like it's weird what he has to do. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Well, but he was out there. Jesse Tuggle was out there one day. I could have gotten his autograph.
The Falcons will probably sign Matt Ryan for one day and then to retire him into the Falcons, right?
Yeah. He's our guy. But it was just unbelievably cool. Maybe I'll never get that again. I met a couple of Dolphins guys who live in Atlanta that are lifelong season ticket holders or not season ticket holders, but lifelong fans of the Miami Dolphins. And they were like, look, I just like going to camps. This one's really well done. It's free. And I'm surprised they don't have any sort of commentary for the people that are there just to give them like a heads up on what's happening on the field. It's real camp. You hear some things you shouldn't hear. They tone it down a little bit, but I heard a couple of F-bombs.
But I'm sure like when you're sitting there.
Defense was doing push-ups because they lost in one of the challenges. Arthur Smith is yelling at everybody.
But you probably don't even, like I don't know the players' numbers. I've never paid attention to the players' numbers.
They give you a guide. When you walk in, you scan QR code. Everything's QR codes just 10 years later than we thought they were going to hit. And you scan the QR code, and it gives you a 250-page guide. It's huge. Yeah. And it basically outlines everything to kind of like basically what you're saying, except you have to read it. So most people didn't do it. I downloaded it. I went through it just so I could see the players that, like, I could stand on the berm and look down at who Maisie was getting signatures. She had purchased she wanted one of those white footballs, where you can get signatures on. And so she muscled her way down there because I told her, you got to, like, fight for these autographs. Yeah. She got skunked on Drake London. So we were standing there talking to him, and then she held her football out when he came back over, and then he got called over for, like, a receiver's practice. So he's like, sorry, and he left, and she was pissed. I mean, pissed. So I gave her a pep talk. I was like, look, you got to go down there, and you got to be a little more forceful when you get your autographs. And she stayed down there and worked it, man. She got A.J. Terrell. She got a lot of players I wanted.
The autographed white football, like I remember I had
it's an old man thing.
My my uncle gave me one from the Dolphins. But it was.
I remember Jaden did that with the Bucks too. Jessica's son.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But they used to print the autographs like in the 90s, and then
buy them at Walmart and they're pre-stamped.
And I remember when I found out that it was printed on, like I had it when I was real young, like my uncle gave it to me, and then I had it in my room just on like a little stand displayed. And then when I turned like 12 or something.
Oh, that's when you became a D-head.
And then it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. Like, no, there's no smudge marks or anything. Like, this wasn't written by a pencil. Like, this was printed on here.
Oh, my God, you felt cheated.
Pencil?
I mean, pen where you could
cheated.
tell. And then I was like, well, this is not worth anything then.
You start stabbing it with a Rambo knife?
You need to have the sloppy, Sharpie signature for it to mean anything,
Yeah,
right?
May had one smear. And she was like, oh, no. I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
That means it's real.
I was like, it's totally fine. Like, Bijan's signed in silver. Everybody else signed in black. It was cool. Like, it was definitely for free. I got to tell you, man, my wife can find some damn free stuff. Like, that's awesome. Because Maisie said it was, like, middle of the pack as far as like her favorite, but I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
It's funny about like these training camps, and because the media has to they have to put out stories, right? Because that's their business. And so they put out stories about, like, let's say Desmond Ridder throwing a nice pass to Drake London in training camp, and then it's like, look at this. And then you're like, all right, well, was that good? Obviously he caught the ball, but it's like, was this extraordinarily hard? You don't know what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So you're watching the training camp. You're like, did they do good? I think they did. What the hell do we know?
I hung out with some lifers that were
coaches.
There. Well, I'm not a coach. Yeah. I'm a casual football fan.
He caught it.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
I'm not in that world, but all the lifers that were behind me, and I'm talking grizzled, old Atlanta, like these old grizzled black dudes that had been real Atlanta football fans from when the team came. That's how old some of these guys were. And they not a big fan of Ridder.
No, really? Oh, yeah.
I heard a lot of that's some BS. I heard a lot of calling him, I think I put in a text to you. They called him Noodle Arm or Weenie Arms or something about it because his arms look weird.
Well, they don't know.
They don't, but he's not well liked is what I'm saying.
Well, nobody likes the new guy.
Everybody's like, he's not the guy. That's not the guy. He's not the guy. Ridder's not the guy.
Well, especially, and I know last year he had Mariota and everything, but when you had an iconic QB for so long.
Who came to training camp?
Nobody likes anybody new after that. It's like, when after Dan Marino, nobody likes the new guy. Same thing with Roethlisberger. Any iconic football player, Brady is happening in New England. It's going to take a while before anybody warms up to some new quarterback that's going to be the franchise quarterback, which who knows if it's Ridder or not, but it's hard because I think all these guys are about the same, honestly, and it's such a small percentage difference that for any of us to even make a comment on how good they look,
I'm just not
we have no like a quarterback coach probably is going to be like, it's so small.
Right.
You know the difference, and that's what they're living.
But the eavesdropping was so funny because you hear things that like don't even matter. But the same two grizzled old guys behind me, they were talking about Ritter and how they didn't like it. Got down there with Maisie and we're getting signatures too and they were really cool. It's like a lot of the old timers will sit up on the top. You can tell the guys that have been to training camp a bunch of times. They'll wait till the kids like kind of wane and then they'll go down and get signatures. And this one guy comes back, he's an old man, and he goes, I wish I could sound like Andre 3000 because everybody in Atlanta sounds like that, especially if you like live there. But this guy said, I don't care what anybody says. Heineke got the best signature in the NFL. That's what he said. And I'm like, what?
I forgot Heineke was now in Atlanta.
They like him. That was the vibe of the camp, is that all the dudes behind me, all the old timers are
he played well in Washington.
Glad we have Heineke. Ritter's not the guy. So that's what I heard.
Yeah.
But that's just casual Atlanta, old folk.
Yeah. It surprises me that these events aren't more popular with the popularity of the NFL and all these guys are superstars,
Maisie, only one bad thing was for whatever reason, I guess we missed the day that the cheerleaders were not out there. They were at a different facility doing like a, pardon me. They were doing like a Make-A-Wish thing.
Okay.
And it just happened out because normally they have everybody out there. So if you're looking for something to do in the summertime, might want to look at your favorite team and see if they have a free training camp to go to.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Bucks got one this Sunday. I might go.
Yeah, it's awesome, Sam. You dig it.
Yeah,
take advantage of it,
It would
man.
make
it's
sense.
I'm going to Tampa on Friday anyway. Maybe I'd stay the whole weekend.
Yeah, man. Bring a white football. Next thing, you're cute. Next thing you know, you have a ton of signatures.
It would make sense that the training camps would be more popular than even the preseason games.
Yes.
Because
more access.
You have more access.
And the preseason games, a bunch of bums out there. I want to see Bijan. That's what I came to see.
I think it's true that most people don't know about it. I didn't know about it.
Look, I'll straight up tell you. We wanted to get Bijan's. We wanted to just see him, right? or maybe get an autograph. And, man, we walked in as the first thing we did. I was like, holy crap. It was just so easy.
But, Hard Knocks started last night, and it's all about training camp. So I contend that people know about it because it's all these training camps, it shows – the fans out there are sitting on the hill. It's all the same. They've been playing Hard Knocks for 25 years or whatever.
Maybe people don't know it's free though.
I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't think it would be
the chat room. The chat room may have hit it. Somebody said that a lot of people think that it's reserved for season ticket people only, and a lot of times it is. But this isn't. Not all of them are. I don't believe every training camp.
Well, maybe because you got to sign up beforehand. I don't know. I mean,
it
it's
was
weird
great,
that it's not as popular.
Yeah.
I feel like it will be.
You want me to tell you about the water?
It'll be hard. You'll be paying to get in.
Oh, they could have easily.
Within 5 years, I think you'll be paying to get in.
They could have easily done $20 a ticket. It would have still been worth it.
Especially if that involves the players are going to sign autographs anyway.
Yeah.
They want to do it for their own social media, for their own they want the locals to like them, especially if they're rookies.
This is funny. There's this old black lady went down there and these guys were yelling at her we were like, what's happening? What's happening? And they were cutting up with her. She's a really, really, really old lady. And she had a copy. She had the player sign her copy of 50 Shades of Grey. I thought that was hilarious. She was down there and just having all the young running backs sign her copy of 50 Shades of Grey.
The people,
interesting,
inappropriate, but very funny.
The people that do go to the training camps are probably the lifers that have been there every year, so they develop a rapport.
Everybody was so nice
with the staff and everything, So it's it's like
especially in that southern kind of it's that vibe. You're in Atlanta, it's got that southern charm. Yeah, you're right.
And especially they did a whole documentary on I think it was on Real Sports about they've got a section of fans in the Atlanta stadium. That are kind of the supporter section. They all dress up and they have a theme or whatever. Yeah. And those guys have become Atlanta famous for that and having this Atlanta supporter section. I'm sure there's a number of them out there at the training camp as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they
all the gear.
Yeah. And that's their hobby. Is that they are total Atlanta supporters. They go to every single game. They go to the training camp.
The other thing I saw out there,
life.
I forgot to tell you guys about this. The other thing I saw out there, which was interesting, they were respectful, but you could see how they were trying to navigate their grift. there were autograph guys were there, and they had weird stuff. Like one guy, and they were in the back. So me and Andrea and Maisie were sitting right up.
Sell it?
Right up front. I don't know. And it was weird because they had some weird, like one of them had, and I was like, oh man, these guys might get kicked out. But it had like a 10 from like a Bud Light. Atlanta Falcons. They were sponsored by Bud Light. I have a pint glass from Falcon Stadium, the old Falcon Stadium when they were sponsored by Bud Light. Most NFL teams have been sponsored by Bud Light at some point in time.
Yeah.
But it was the 10 from like the stadium that had been nailed, and they pulled it off. And he got the players to sign that, and then he had a bunch of the mini bobbleheads, and he had them in a backpack. And I was like, you're going to ruin it for everybody, man, because they want you to buy the football from the, merch area and then go down and participate. They don't want you coming in and cash cowing this thing.
Yeah.
You're going to ruin it.
I'm sure that a lot of the players don't sign the guy with the bag of bobbleheads for that reason.
He got
right?
some of them signed.
They don't like when the guys like that.
He was taking them down individually,
Sure.
and getting them signed. But I did notice that
they don't want you to sell it, all right? Like nobody likes that.
No.
As a player,
I don't even like that.
You don't want to sign something someone's going to put up on eBay and profit off of. You want to sign the stuff for the kids to make their day, not for the guy with the Santa Claus bag full of stuff he bought.
And I'll tell you,
that he's gonna sell on eBay.
I'm telling you who's going to crush it, though, just based on personality and how he works the fans, and especially the children, because he's making new little fans, is Bijan. He's that guy.
Yeah.
He's talking to the kids. He's talking to my daughter. He's talking to these. I got chill bumps thinking about it. He's that guy. Charismatic. He's one of those guys, that just can, you're like, oh, man, if you just keep doing well and don't get injured, you will, oh, my God, you're going to do so great.
Well,
but he was great.
All these guys, I think, realize that through watching what other successful players do, that, okay, you've got to make yourself a brand, and that's how you're going to make money. Start, keep your nose clean, portray yourself the way you want to be portrayed.
He had dressed out.
So
he had dressed out. The running backs are done.
Sign the autographs, do the extra community service events.
The running backs had dressed out, so he'd gone back to the dorm. But then he put his pads and he put his helmet down, and then he came back because he saw the line got big, and he walked the whole line of kids. And it was like, there you go. It was neat.
Yeah. Now, can you continue to do this once you're a superstar? That's another, because at the beginning, it's probably, a whirlwind.
Well, you're more fresh.
Yeah.
You got more energy, maybe.
Yeah, and also it's newer to you, even though some of these guys, now they're getting paid in college and they're already stars in college because they know they're going to make it to the NFL. But once you get to this level, I'm sure after 3 years, and then it starts wearing you down after a while. Yeah.
Then we went to a water park that's owned by Six Flags. It's called Whitewaters.
Yeah.
It's a strange name for the park, considering no one white is in there. But no, it's not. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just an observation. But no, it's Action Park.
Oh.
It's Action Park. I have bruises from Whitewaters. We go in, we buy our tickets, and
is it like a small town water park or
no? I mean, because it's owned by Six Flags, it's probably the biggest water park I've ever seen in my life, and it's humongous with so many slides. I got a question about water parks. Why every water park on the face of the planet? Why is every water park got one slide that doesn't run? Why?
Well,
somebody got hurt real bad on it, probably.
But then tear it down. Like, there's always, because those are the ones I want to ride. I look over and I see the one with the leaves.
Too much work. Just leave
it. See the no water on it. And I go, well, that looks fun. Let's do it. Fire that. Put some water on there. Let's wet it down. Let's go.
I don't know what goes into the engineering of water slides.
I don't think a lot. I don't think a lot. I'll tell you why. The first ride,
one bad mistake and they're done.
The first ride we went on was called the Tornado, and it's a 4-person raft. And I know you hate water parks, and this one may have had the most pee.
I don't hate water parks.
Well, this one had the most pee of any water park, guaranteed. And we get on it. I'm in the anchor position. Andrea's to my right. Maisie's to my left. And you're sitting in like one of those like family tubes.
Yeah.
And the first drop, you just go down into like what looks like a giant tornado. But you drop straight down. So when we dropped, I stood up because I had no choice. I was just standing. because I'm going straight down. So as we drop, I'm like, I'm just like, straight down. And then
break your kneecaps.
Yeah, and then it was just, oh man, really, 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 really rough. But the one that got me was one called the Dragon's Tail. And we stood in line for like 30 minutes because Maisie had to ride the Dragon's Tail. And this one, it's one of these ones that like goes down straight down the hill, but it has a lot of whoopies. Kind of like, remember when it was big at the fair, you would go and you'd walk up the big staircase and you'd get the potato sack and you'd go down the potato sack slide.
Yeah.
It was like a potato sack slide, but for wet humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So I started it, but it's got the bar, the start bar. And I'm a huge fan of the start bar. And if you don't know what that is, it's you hold it. It's like what skiers hold. And then it goes, doot, 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 doot. You pull yourself as hard as you can. Mm. Well, I saw that, and I'm
says prepare for major airtime as you bound over a series of 3 very steep sudden drops without warning.
Yeah, I didn't know you would get airtime. So I'm like, watch, I'm going to show, I got to impress my daughter. She's been hanging with, a bunch of super athletes over the weekend. I got to show her that
I can at least go down a water slide.
I can at least go down a water slide. And I go, yeah! And I go, and when I get to that second whoopie-doo, I get airborne, and my leg comes out, and it whacks on the side. He's like, yow! And I almost came out of it, because I'm shaped like a ball.
Yeah. People,
I'm
didn't
round.
Expect the ball.
Yeah, they didn't expect the balls are coming. Yeah, and I rolled down that thing, and I went out. It was like they came over, like, sir, are you fine? Because when I went up, it was like, sink. And when I hit, I kid you not, it was like on the fiberglass, it was like, go!
We got a code 2 ball.
Code 2 ball.
I got a dead ball down here.
White ball.
But yeah, Dragon's Tail is where it's at. Very dangerous. My wife is bruised. I'm bruised.
The older water parks they were built before everybody is too crazy.
Yeah.
So they had a little more extreme aspects.
Six Flags in general, I think, are more extreme rides.
Well, one of the flags is a Confederate flag.
Six Flags.
Yeah,
somebody told me that.
There's still some accidents.
Somebody told me that. One of the flags is a Confederate flag. I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that. It's one of the 6.
That's number 2. It's right after the American flag.
It was great. I wouldn't put it up there as like one of my highlights, but it was still, we had a good time. We enjoyed the slides. I have a funny story that I'll tell on the BDM show about an altercation that I had. I know you guys are big fans of confrontations. Ross does confrontations on the Friday Free Show. Yeah. I had a confrontation at the beginning of the water park before we ever got in. So I'll tell you about that.
Little Hooch, Lazy River.
Yeah, I went in the Little Hooch.
You had a full-blown American summer.
Yeah, you did.
You go to a Falcons NFL training camp.
Yep.
Baseball.
I haven't even talked about the baseball game.
Yeah. So you went to a Braves game.
Coca-Cola World.
Yeah, we went to World of Coke. Maisie loved World of Coke.
Me too when I was a kid. It's great for a kid.
It really is,
What's in there?
Coke.
Cokes from all around the world.
Yeah, but how big is it?
Huge.
It's huge.
You watch movies, you ride rides. It's got
what kind of rides are there?
Just dumb, like people mover stuff. It's not like roller coasters. It's just like, installations.
Okay.
Exhibits.
But it's all about
Coke
and
like
the history
museum,
of Coke.
But you also get to taste all the Cokes from around the world.
Yeah. They hire some really good, I got to give these guys their flowers. They hire really good people to present. So the guy that talks to you is good. He's not boring. He's like a young, hip, like he kind of looked like Wiz Khalifa, and then he gave you he was cool and made noises and did stand up, kind of like a presentation. It was good.
As the host.
Yeah, he's like the host, and then you go through and you look at a lot of memorabilia, and then they always do different installations. The one that they were working on this particular summer was the different fragrances that they use and flavors that they use in their sodas, and how they represent the countries. So they had this one soda from Chile that you would smell, and then you would go over and they'd show which berries they used, which essence of cocoa powder they used.
All right. Okay. I had no idea they made different countries' Coca-Cola smell differently.
Yeah. It's all they have you have sodas from Morocco, sodas from Italy, sodas.
This Coke smells like BO.
Which one is that? Don't say it. Yeah, it's a lot of that. It is a lot of that. There's one soda in there called Beverly that you have to get your kid to drink a full cup of Beverly because it tastes like garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the best one. I fill it up. I'm like, here, drink it. It's great.
She never did that at Disney?
No.
They have the Beverly at Disney.
No, she's never been in that little area
Do they charge you to get in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not, again, it's like, I think it was $18 a
it's pretty
person. It's not, like, they know what they're doing, and they know they're going to get you. And
what's the slime world?
Okay, so I guess there's only 3 of these. There's 3 different locations of this place, and the only reason Maisie knows about it is from YouTube, but they're called SlooMoos. And it's the SlooMoo Slime Institute.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Some garbage Andrea
You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, I called it slow-mo, and then the guy's like, oh, no, it's SlooMoo. And I was like, why? Because there's not any slow people here. And he's like,
And this is a brick and mortar place. Okay.
It's huge.
Okay, giant.
It looks like an institute.
Okay.
Chicago, New York, and Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah. So we went to the Atlanta one, and it was like one of those days where we didn't have anything planned.
Smart
it was
business
loose.
model. Kids love the slime.
I told Andrea that, we're talking about it now, but off air, I told Andrea, I go, if Tom and I had the money, I would open a goddamn SlooMoo in Orlando, and I would crush.
Makes sense, yeah.
Why is there no
why do they not have a
SlooMoo?
I'm sure they're working on it.
They gotta be. Well, no, I asked the lady that's the manager. She was really nice. She's like, nope, the next one's in Houston. I was like, well, they gotta be planning it.
So what is it?
Okay, so I guess it's a company that makes slime, but they also have these little institutes that you can go to. They teach you about the chemical process of slime, because you're using, I guess, borax and Elmer's glue in order to make.
Okay, so they teach you how to make the slime.
Yeah, and then you can go to all these different rooms, and they have hundreds of combinations of crazy slime with sponges in it, balls in it, charms in it, slick slimes, crazy slime, metal slime, shiny slime, like anything you can think of. And then at the end, you get to make your own slime. They give you a little thing. You can put whatever scent you want in it. You can put charms in it. You can put whatever color you want in it. And slime making.
And
was not my highlight. Maisie loved it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, it's for the kids.
Yeah.
But so what is it? Something you pay for?
Oh yeah, you pay a lot.
And then you get to take home the slime.
Yes,
I'm sure.
You keep the slime. So
how long is the whole thing? Like
there's 7 different
minutes?
rooms. Oh, you can stay as long as you want if you're playing with the
each
slime.
room you make your own slime.
Well, each room you go into and you really just you play with the slime. They've had somebody in there that's already made it. So I think the first room we went into, there were 3 different types of slime. Then there was one where you could hook a heart monitor up to you and it would like bubble the slime based on your heart movement.
Cool.
Then they had a room you go into where you took a water balloon slingshot. I think there's a video on Andrea's.
You shoot the slime.
You shoot the slime at your child, and she's behind a piece of plexiglass. Like she puts her face right up to it, and you can. You could kill her if you hit her in the face with it, but there's a piece of plexiglass, and it just goes gang like right in front of her, and it scares her.
Because I was about to say, like, how much can you do with the slime? But now I'm now that I'm hearing
they're stretching it out. Pun intended. Pun intended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the heartbeat slime, you shoot the slime.
Yeah.
Is there one you pour the slime on your head?
You could get slime.
Okay.
Yeah, we chose not to do that one.
Can you put your feet in the slime?
You can. They have a lake. They have a lake.
A slime lake?
Lake SlooMoo.
Okay.
Yeah. They have 2 SlooMoo lakes.
And you get in there fully clothed?
Well, you can't go. You can only go about ankle deep. I mean, they're
So you just walk in it without your shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny how much because there's only a certain amount of
there's
things
only
you
so
can
much
do.
you can do.
Is there any edible slime?
At some point, no, there's no edible slime. And you got to wash your hands before you go in there.
Do they let only a certain amount of people in at a time?
Yeah, they do. Okay. They do it in like
groups of 10.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just trying to figure out the business model here.
I'm asking any questions.
It's pretty good because the overhead, it seems
nothing.
Yeah, it seems like all the price goes into the employees. That's hard to find, but other than that,
and that was what I told Andrea. The employees are hard to find, and they had really good ones. Like they had like really charismatic, like guys that were good with kids.
Yeah,
and guys and girls, but mostly guys that would just be like, "Hey, you want to play the?"
Well, they probably grew up making slime video. They're probably slime video influencers.
Oh, they're very young.
Or like,
they're very young guys.
Yeah,
but all like very good with children, knew what they were doing, kind of a thing.
Because the slime videos have been around for a little bit.
Oh,
right?
I hate slime.
Like,
I hate it.
They've been
so
around
much.
for 8 years or so. Like,
I hate it, and Maisie knows I like slime, so I was taking one for the team and doing this. I hated it. I don't like slime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like, and you know how hard it was for me as a dad to not complain about having my hands smell like pumpkin pie the entire day, because I stuck my hands in stupid pumpkin pie slime, and then it would not go off, and it wouldn't come off my hands for 2 days. I took a shower at the Airbnb, and it was like scrubbing my hands with every soap. I got to get this goddamn pumpkin pie off. I could not get it off.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to make fun of Kenny.
All right.
Because he's going through some sort of crisis.
He's having a moment. My God, he's got mermaid hair. He's sitting out in the lobby with mermaid hair.
So we'll be right back with more corporate time.
All right. Tomato juice, does that really work?
What's up, dude?
It's supposed to work for like skunk smell.
That's not a bad idea. I should have done that. Yeah, it's very expensive. Where's that
That's Monday 1 and 2.
All right. Should have known that.
Hello, lady and gents.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Glad to hear your Atlanta Fest went great.
Oh, it was awesome, man. It's a fun city. The people are so nice.
Oh, I love it.
I do think, for the most part, if you run into locals in Atlanta, and this is not a diss on Orlando because I love Orlando, but if you get a regular Atlanta native or somebody that's a lifer there, they're so kind and very old school Southern charm. You know, we sat with this couple, this guy and this lady, like an older lady and an older man who had a daughter that was having a birthday party at the water park.
Yeah.
And they were just so like old school, and everything was like they were just so sweet. You know, just like it was interesting.
And it's crazy because depending on where you are, like where the Truist Stadium is like near Marietta and all that. And that's a different type of Southern hospitality. That's like more of like the family friendly, like,
Right.
You know, you see your kids
didn't
playing.
Hear a lot of cursing and stuff at the game. The vibe at the game was
Yeah.
so low key and family. It was very
Yep.
gross in a funny way.
Yeah.
Like not gross. You know what I mean? It
And
was
it's
just like
it's one of those too where it's like if Maisie was running around and an entire family would be like, hey, does she want to come over to our picnic and, you know, eat some of our food? Like they're just overly friendly like that.
yeah, I'm a fan. It was very nice.
When you get a chance, there's a song called Power of Love by someone named Joe Simon.
On Spotify?
Yeah, or YouTube or whatever. I just the reason I bring it up, I ran across it on whatchamacallit, on XM, and it sounds like when you're impersonating like those old R&B singers from the 70s. It's called Power of Love by Joe Simon.
Okay. Let me pee real fast. Got it. All right, let me use the restroom real fast. Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you too, dude. This is what everyone talks about when it says that when Dan's not here, it's just quiet.
Oh, yeah. Super quiet.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up, Kenny.
All right.
Yeah, you're ruining our quiet time.
Fuck. Too much like Dan.
All right.
Did you guys see that Alabama boat fight?
I did. We were just watching it before we started today.
Some crazy shit.
Fuck around and find out.
I do appreciate that they nickname the Black Aquaman, the kid that
I
is
haven't
like
seen that.
Well, he swims across the entire marina
Yeah, I
just
saw
to join
him,
the fight.
but I didn't hear them call him a
Yep.
nickname. Yeah, that's listen. I don't know if I would have jumped in, but
Okay.
I experienced the silence, Dan, and it was uncomfortable.
You gotta
You
learn.
didn't experience it because you kept talking through it.
You gotta sit in it.
Yeah, you gotta sit
You
in
gotta
it, let it marinate.
You gotta sit in it, and like it's sometimes when you sit in it, you'll hear things backwards. Like the silence will start to go. It'll.
Yeah. It'll
And then it'll
envelop
go.
you.
Then you're like.
Well, then, like, I hear, like, all of us taking a sip from our respective beverages, and it's just like that
That's why people are
lip smacking.
Remember the guy? He's like, I can't listen to the show anymore. The audio quality's too good. I'm going to those shows that sound worse. All right. I can start.
All right.
Is this for Tuesday or what?
Monday.
My brain.
It's Monday.
Monday 3.
Monday 3.
Here we go. And 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
So we've got Kenny Samsel here. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey! Let me put the camera on him so we can see him.
So
Tom has this grin on his face, just
well,
waiting.
Well,
Just waiting.
yeah, because I saw on your social media, Kenny, that
It was your birthday. Happy belated.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Happy
Appreciate
birthday,
that.
buddy. How old are you now?
39.
Whoa! I think I know what's happening here.
I'm glad you mentioned your age.
He's inching towards 40.
'cause
and
I
he's
didn't
going
know.
crazy.
Oh, boy.
I had no idea, but then because when I saw
The
this,
fuse is lit.
we'll start with your hair. I saw you
All
dyed
right.
you dyed your hair.
Yeah.
You dyed your hair.
It's
You just,
blue
Yeah, it's blue.
and blonde.
It's blue with a blonde streak.
Okay.
Oh my God! If you put Crocs on and go they them, I'm gonna smooch your face. I will smooch your face.
So I saw you dye your hair, and then I was confused at first because then I was like, "What is this?" Like I thought it was some work thing.
Well, this is different than what I saw. This is blue. I saw it where it was Kenny hair, and then he had that evil genius streak in it, and I like that.
Well, that was fresh out. So I went to Melissa Soroka.
Okay.
And she did an amazing job. And we just.
Specializes in color.
Yeah, exactly. And so she did it way better than how I could style it. So, like, now that I'm not with her, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, how can I, like, make this look incredible?
You should drive to her house and beg her to comb your hair every morning. That'll go over big with her husband.
So then I thought to myself, I was like, oh, I thought I know Kenny. He's been coming in here for at least
You don't know Kenny. You
2
know
months.
nothing about
I have
Kenny.
no idea.
You know nothing
2
about Kenny.
months.
Yeah, it's been at least.
He's a mystery to you. You don't know. Name something unique you know
me say
about
this.
Kenny.
Well, I know he's not married.
Name his dog.
Right, but every time you ask,
Yeah, I do,
you don't
I do
know
the
that.
same thing. I asked it this morning. Name his dog.
His dog. Well, I don't know anybody's dog's name.
That's true. You don't even know my dog's name.
I don't even know my friends' kids' names.
Don't say that.
Yeah, like
Fair.
you know.
Yeah.
He's
He
not
calls
wrong.
Maisie the strong one.
The flipper.
He did say at least.
It's the same thing I do with listeners. I use the name, their unfortunate, whatever's wrong with them, and that's their name.
He did
Big
used to call
Nose
me
Jerry.
Trivia. Is like, you're the one that does trivia, right?
Oh, Trivia Drew. He got you confused with Trivia Drew.
Anyway,
Multiple times.
Both very handsome men, though.
So I thought I knew Kenny. He's been coming in here for a long time.
Yeah.
We've had many conversations on
Many
the air.
Kennys.
Yeah, Kenny Minnie.
And then we've also carried our conversations outside, sometimes even walking down the sidewalk. We're
Whether
talking about,
solicited or not.
The awkward
The
exit.
infamous van sidewalk tapes.
I talk about
the sidewalk tapes.
talk about business, anyway. So and so then I see Kenny dyeing his hair blue, right?
No, at first it was the streak.
It's a
First
what-
he did
yeah.
Cruella de Kenny,
Yeah.
where he had like the Cruella de Vil, and I approved of that one because I've done that before. I did a black streak though.
And so I see this, and I'm like, what? You must have lost a bet or something. And then I started thinking, I was like, is this a fantasy football thing?
Maybe he just likes style.
Where like the loser of the league has to dye their hair blue. You know,
what if he's just trendy and wants to change? You know,
well, it's an odd thing,
you
Daniel.
changed your hair about 6 years ago.
To a standard old 1940s businessman haircut, and that's it. And I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing
Kenny
this.
is the businessman of the future.
No,
Yeah, but you're also not known for your fashion.
of
so.
course,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I know Kenny likes to dress flamboyantly every once in a while.
He dresses like Rod Roddy from The Price is Right. Remember
good
Rod
reference.
Roddy?
That's a
Does
great
anybody know
reference.
Rod Roddy except for Kenny?
Come on down.
Yeah, he died, but he was awesome, and he always had the best jackets.
And that I accept because he's in the entertainment industry, kinda. He comes on the show. He's in drone leagues of something.
You don't want to dress like the audience. If you're a rock star, you don't dress like the audience.
Yeah, but he's behind the scenes producing.
I forget who told me that. I think Diamond Dallas Page told me that one time.
If if I was Mr. Guardian, I'd be like, "Hey, tone it down, buddy. Here behind this. You're in production.
I want you to shave your hair, Britney Spears.
Yeah. Let the star shine. You're the cameraman. Anyway, so I saw
he's
Kenny
like
Dice
the young professor of the drone racing league.
No, but the young professor's on the mic.
Are you on the mic ever?
Yeah, sometimes.
There you go.
Are you hyping up the crowd?
Tom, why do you have tattoos?
I get them lasered off.
I was going to say, I don't even think he likes them.
Yeah, he doesn't even remember he has them.
Yeah, I got it when I was young, and I was 22, and I was like, I want some tattoos.
I still go with, I still contend that my theory holds up. When you wore hats, you were more fun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this will grow out. I can always get it changed. It's just a temporary thing. I wanted to see what I look like with blue hair. We'll
all see that eventually.
You can put that on Snapchat and see what you look like with blue hair.
Listen, in Billy Madison, he drew the duck blue because he wanted to see what a blue duck looked like.
See, I'm glad you made that reference because it's an old man reference.
Yeah.
You're referencing something only old men know.
It's a reference that a 40-year-old man with blue hair would make.
So this furthers my point into why'd you dye your hair bright blue. It seems like an odd thing to do as a 39-year-old man.
I know why he did it. He wants some of those freaky alternative punk rock chicks.
Is it because he
wants a crazy
some sort of scene?
He wants crazy sex.
Here's the thing. I treat coloring my hair no different than wearing a purple suit. You know what I mean? Like, to me,
oh my God, you've worn a purple suit.
Well, I did it as a joke.
This is no joke for you, right?
No.
You have to live your life
when
like
Tom
this,
questions this,
I don't leave the studio with the purple suit and
is
go.
Is it insulting to you that Tom questions your life choices?
I mean, I've had blue hair.
I mean, Tom doesn't understand people.
He won't say nothing to you because you'll kick his ass.
He doesn't notice it though.
No. Well, Sam.
Because all he's staring at is your chest constantly.
Sam is
like those haven't changed.
First of all, she's younger than you, Kitty.
That is true.
And she's also.
Did you see him nod at me when he got you? He was like, got him.
She's got her show, Semantic. She's an entertainer.
He's got a show, Two Moofs.
Oh, you forget about the moves.
Forgot about the moves.
He just did a really nice comment. Is it insulting to you when Tom says your show isn't a real show? Now are we insulted?
No, because I know, when you were saying
it's not a real show?
Well, because you were saying.
What is happening?
Yeah, because people are like.
So he was right the whole time? Don't do that. If it's not a real show and then he says it's not a real show and you're like, he's right, then he wins.
Listen, it is a real show, but the sound quality is so bad that I think the listeners that don't listen to this show because it sounds too good.
I can help you with that. I'll let you guys use the studio. So you can move it up in here.
Okay, it's fine, Kenny. You got your hair dyed blue.
Because he wants that kinky sex.
Listen, and what do I know? I don't have fun. I don't usually experience
not only do you
joy
not
in
have
life,
fun, you make fun of other people's fun.
You don't experiment with style or color or anything.
No. It's the same, black polo or jeans every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll let that one slide.
Okay, next up.
But then, because I was like, all right, once I found out that it was not some sort of bet,
you're like, he's crazy.
Because usually you dye your hair blue out of nowhere. This is some sort of bet.
It's an odder flex for a nearing 40-year-old man.
Yeah, professional.
I'll say it this way. Less nearing 40-year-old men dye their hair blue than do.
Yes.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, so then I see your birth. When was your birthday, Kenny?
Well, it was last week, but it's one of those like middle of the week birthdays, which I think everyone hates because you can't like go rage and party or do anything.
Rage?
How do you rage in the middle of the week?
He's raging at 39, Tom.
You're falling into Tom's traps.
You are.
Yeah, you're raging right into them.
What is raging? Because I've gotten drunk before.
Well, I don't know.
Am I raging?
No, you don't have blue hair.
And like, what are you? You have to be jumping and screaming to be raging, right? And you can't do that all night long.
Your knees are gonna hurt tomorrow.
But maybe your version of raging is getting drunk and then doing backflips off your boat into the water.
Yeah, but it's one flip, and then you land, and you're like, all
I'm
right,
rage.
And then
I rage.
And then you just stand belly deep in water and drink beers until you can
drink and pee.
Anyway, so I saw your birthday was coming up, and then you're doing, your rager.
The kitty blue hair rager.
And then I saw that you themed your birthday in a particular manner. And why don't you tell people how you wanted your birthday themed?
I mean, you can clearly see what I'm wearing right now. Bright, blue teal shirt, and you've seen the suits I wear. You've seen the outfits I wear. And
Roddy.
Exactly. And I was thinking, well, no one else dresses like this unless they're a lunatic. So let me theme my birthday and encourage people dress like me.
Okay.
What do you think I would wear?
You know what's happening right now, Sam? Sam, I think I figured this out. You have two egomaniacs battling each other.
Yeah.
I'm not an egomaniac.
Well, the only person I know of that
even like myself.
The only person I know of that would ever
neither do I.
ever talks about himself in third person.
You're
Tom
like
Van this and Tom Van that.
Egomaniac, though.
Yeah, they're having the same guy.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
Yeah, but the fact that I hate it evens it out.
That is true, because I love it. I'm on the opposite end.
Did anybody dress like you?
A lot of people did. So you have many options. You have a hipster T-shirt and multicolored shorts, Kenny. You have a neon suit, Kenny. You have a faux hipster plaid on plaid, Kenny.
This would be so awkward for me
to
ask people to dress like me.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start doing it.
Do it for your birthday next year.
I'm gonna do it for Christmas.
Okay.
Everybody on
like
Christmas dressed like me.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I mean, you guys, at least the three of you, when you guys do have your style, it's ranging around the same thing. People who've hung out with me, I will wear a completely different thing all the time. So I gave people a lot of options.
Fashion chameleon. And nobody knows. Sometimes I'm out with Kenny, I don't even know it's him. I'm like, who's this?
So here's the weird part to me is that you even suggested that in a post in the invitation to the party to your friends.
Yes.
I didn't get an invitation.
It would seem like anybody else would be embarrassed to suggest that everybody dress like me to my birthday.
It does sound like something you would do, though.
No, because you
got to realize. It sounds a lot like, hey, everybody, we're releasing a book of Tom stories for everyone to listen to. It sounds exactly like. It's like, hey, I know what they'd love to listen to. My stories again.
I get awkward about even at Ailstone when they did the Dress Like Tom Van contest.
I am awkward when I'm asking the editors to put this together. I just want you to know how awkward I am.
Well, the Tom Van Facebook page wanted it.
That's still around? Is that still around?
Did your friends want this?
I think 2 people wanted that. Big Rick and Mike B.
My friends were very excited to do this because it basically...
Was it to clown on you?
A little bit. But that's fine. I'm okay with that because it no different than, like, let's say Halloween. You get to wear something you normally wouldn't wear any other day of the year. So for them, they're like, oh, I'm going to have the neon green shorts. I'm going to have the really tight Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt, and I'm going to put my socks up to my knees. I'll never wear that any other day of the year. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
That's what I wear.
Because
that's the Dan.
So it gave them an excuse to dress flamboyantly.
Correct. When they normally would.
Flamboyant.
But I will say, here's something that Tom would never understand. I gave away a prize to the winner who I felt dressed like me the most, and the prize was a headshot of me with blue hair, and I autographed it for him, put it in frame, gave it to them.
Ooh.
This makes you crazier than all.
Yeah, it really does.
I thought you were normal.
Like the
we're
fact
learning more. Every visit, we're learning more.
It's like on his 10th visit in here or something, he decided just to go crazy and show us the real him.
You know, if you're willing to come into the show month after month, you're not normal. It can't be. That's the tell. That's the beginning tell.
And
you're
sit
not normal.
stone-faced during the abuse. We're telling you that this is not normal, and you're like, you're fine with it.
See, I don't care because to me, you're not insulting me. I know how I dress. I know who I know how people think of me, and I don't care because I'm having fun.
Will you ever stop with the flamboyance?
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
So, Kenny, what else has been going on in the life of Kenny Samsel?
So, we talked about the whole Starbucks commercial about how that was basically a waste of money. I did a couple of Disney commercials, and that wasn't a waste of money. They were very efficient and very on point. So the first one I did was at the Disney Cruise Line, out at the Disney Wish over at Port Canaveral. and they're doing a video and photo shoot. And they're doing like different segments of the boat, but the one I was a part of was the Avengers, dining room area. So got to sit there and, pretend to eat desserts. I mean, by pretend, they actually were desserts, but we had to take little baby bites.
Because Iron Man has nothing better to do but to pop into the cruise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Spider-Man...
so stupid. Even Marvel at Sea is dumb.
Spider-Man will jump out and he'll interact with the kids, and then we all had to do the... my God.
My God.
How Tom did at the land cruise, where it's just like, whoa, I can't believe it.
Yo!
But
that's called the Goofy.
After you do it one time, you have to do it like 6 or 7 times, and it is
Spider-Man is on the boat.
They had me, and so they always do the implied. They never actually say it, but they're like, hey, do you mind if you're part of an LGBT couple? And I'm like, not at all. And all that really meant was I
know what I am.
I sat next to another dude.
I'm a straight man that looks LGBTQ.
So I sat next to another dude. And
you there, mermaid hair.
So I sat next to another dude. We did a couple of takes, and now the food was real.
This one, when Spider-Man jumps out, could you stick your tongue down his throat, please?
By the way,
just waggle it.
How awkward would it be if you were like, I do mind?
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't doing it.
And then you still just sit there.
This blue hair's for the Confederacy.
Just cross.
I'm sure they get that a lot.
Cross my arms and just shake my head no as like Spider-Man's running up.
Unbelievable.
Well, I feel like
what would Thanos say?
The people that show up to be extras in a Disney commercial, like, are they gonna mind?
No. Yeah. Well, for this one, so even though we were
Billy, like, I hate everything is there. Why would he be there? All right, I'll go to the stupid commercial.
Leave my torch in the car.
Even though it was, I was considered an extra. It's just one of those where they're featuring, and they have to make it seem as real as possible. So when Spider-Man's going around interacting with people,
jeans and whack it.
So when Spider-Man's going around, if he interacts with you, you got to interact back because he's going to do that on the normal show.
Don't grab his junk.
So they did one take where we had desserts in front of us, and we did our thing or whatever. And I sat next to my quote-unquote boyfriend or husband or whatever. And then we left so they can reset.
I feel like you should have figured that out, though. Boyfriend or husband?
Well, you see, we
out the character.
We didn't have the storyline as well, but so they reset. We did another scene where we had our main entrees in front of us, but because of just where lights were and stuff, my quote-unquote boyfriend couldn't sit next to me, and another lady whose husband was there, her husband couldn't sit next to her, so her and I ended up sitting as if we were on a date. So in Disney commercial canon, we each had significant others, and we decided just to dump them and cheat on them with each other. So that's how the background action is going to be.
So you had to react to the character as if he was the actual character.
Spider-Man!
Well, because I have never been able to ever pretend like some character was the actual character and not just
I know. I saw you interview that Santa Claus.
Some poor bastard in a suit behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Spider-Man comes up to me, I can never
even
act
if Spider-Man
like
comes to you and says, "Please, for the love of God, pretend, please, my life, I will die if you don't pretend that I'm Spider-Man. The man behind me will shoot me."
Like, I know you're just some actor that is trying to make it in town and got this gig. I cannot pretend you're Spider-Man.
It helped that there were kids there. So when you see the kids like going crazy because in their mind it is Spider-Man,
you just go, they're so stupid. He's not real.
it helps you because like your reaction is to react to the kids having fun because the kids are looking at Spider-Man. So it's a little bit easier to do it that way.
You know what? I just realized that it's genetic because my sons, when they see like Santa Claus, even when they were young, like when we were at Castleberry, Santa Claus came in the flatbed truck.
He's in jail now.
And we ran up to go see him or whatever. We were standing on the sidewalk and Castleberry Santa Claus on a flatbed in a sleigh. And
I got my second wind.
With Mrs. Claus. And then they were just staring at him and looking at and then they weren't like, whoa! Yeah. Like it didn't blow their mind that they were looking at Santa.
I think most kids do that though.
They were just looking at it like, this is weird. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, Santa Claus.
Yeah, but what are they supposed to say? You know, I feel like most kids don't say anything.
But I feel like they'd freak out like it was the Beatles, right? Like,
No.
you know, like, because it's Santa
Again with the old man reference.
I don't.
No, but I'm saying like it's Taylor Swift.
But a man on a flatbread's not as impressive. Like he's not in his sleigh.
It would've
he doesn't
been-
have reindeer.
It was a sleigh on the flatbed. Like, and they, you know,
What is it? Broke down?
Sled got repossessed.
they were
Your
pulling
kids
it.
are smarter than
with
you
the-
think, bro.
Hey,
They
but-
know it's not the real Santa.
But even when they go to the mall and see Santa, like, but I'm saying when they were young, like 2 years old, like they never were like,
your kids are reserved, though.
Yeah.
They're not going
But-
to do that.
Well, you're reserved, so I feel like I feel like they feed off of energy.
They could
like
be
if,
excited
If you were like
internally.
me, like everywhere I go with Maisie, if it's something new, like, and it's just probably naturally how I am, I'll be like, oh man, like, and it's who I am, right? And it's real. It's not fake. It's authentic.
Do you ever
and
do
you're
that-
not like that. So I feel like
Right.
that energy jumps off of me onto her
But
sometimes.
do you ever
too.
do that thing where, like, let's say Santa Claus, you're like, oh, kids, look at that, it's Santa Claus. Like, do you do?
No, he doesn't.
right.
so your
you don't
kids-
hype it up.
Yeah, your kids
No.
aren't gonna
He's
feel
not gonna
hyped.
sell it.
when I was younger, or
When you
when
wore
they-
hats.
No, I'm
it's my
saying-
theory. When you wore hats.
No, when they were younger, like I used
I've
to.
heard you try and hype stuff up, and it is not that exciting.
All right.
You do the whoa. You do the thing that your wife
you
said.
get the whoa.
Yeah.
So this is
whoa,
gonna be
it's Santa.
even more.
Look, boys.
He's here. My God.
At least with Spider-Man, he has a mask, so you're never like looking at him in the eye. So the second commercial I did was at Cinderella's Royal Hall, which is in the castle. It's basically the restaurant that's in there.
So you get to go in there?
Yep. So
that's pretty wild
yep.
that you get to go to these places that a lot of people don't get to see.
Oh
That's-
yeah, and
that's pretty awesome.
and it's another one where it's the full experience when we're there, and they set it up. Now this one I was actually paired with mom and her daughter, so we had to pretend to be a family and do all that stuff. But for this one, it was the princesses that were there. So there was like Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Jasmine, and Ariel, and because they don't have masks on, they are just looking at you and interacting with you and doing the whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's Disney, even when they yell cut and the cameras aren't rolling, they're still in character.
Right.
Like Snow White is still doing the nice to meet you.
yeah, the little.
Yeah, exactly.
I
with
like
their hands
that.
in the air.
I think all women should stay in character when I'm around them.
Yep. And even like again, even when they weren't rolling, they're still interacting with the kids. So they're, coming up and be like, I
Yeah.
hope you guys are having a wonderful evening.
I support that.
Yeah, and Ariel would come up and be like, your hair looks like the ocean where I'm from.
And that's
Yeah, well, Tom hates it.
they have to do that.
Yeah.
Even when they're at the park, once you put on the regalia, you have
Regalia.
you have to act like that at all times,
Yeah,
right?
we're just
I
suited
just
up.
found it impressive because for this is like, it's a closed off set and the public can't be here. Anyone who's here is working and we're all a part of it. So you would think they would be like, oh, I'm going to shut it off because, again, we're working and we're all working and we're all a part of it. So it would be as if they kept character when they were backstage with other Disney employees.
Yeah. That is kind of weird. I guess it's
Kids.
a unique.
It's the kids, right?
Yeah.
Well, the kids were there. Now, the kids were kid actors, obviously, for,
Bunch of jerks.
But and
Did you
so,
talk about them how jerky they are?
well, some of them were because you could clearly tell their parents were the typical stage moms. Be like, okay, no, you need to face this way. Okay, make sure you tilt your head. You want to show them your good side. And they're like,
Give them that straight up Jeremy look. Give them
But-
a Jeremy.
but like they're 4 years old and they're just like, it's Snow White. I want to dance with Snow
Right.
White and play. Like, why are you yelling at me, Mom? Like, they don't care. You know what
You
I
gotta
mean?
raise the bar
Well, they're
high.
working.
I'm not raising.
Get to work.
Yeah, I'm not raising babies. I'm raising adults. Michelle Obama.
No.
So what does that pay, Kenny? What are you talking here for a day of your
Yeah.
time?
And how do I get in on this? I want to be in a Disney
Gotta have
commercial.
blue hair. Gotta get your hair back.
I'll do it blue
I'll
again.
send you the link to sign
Yeah,
up for it
please
because they do
do.
it all the time. The call itself is about 5 hours or so. Half of that is a lot of waiting because you have to sit around, you have to fill out the paperwork, you have to wait for
do
security
they
and
tell
stuff.
you what to wear in the commercial?
Yes and no. They say, hey, wear this sort of stuff. Like, so for the cruise, wear cruise apparel. So wear shorts, wear a Disney t-shirt, stuff like that. For the Royal Hall, they're like, it's a little bit more upscale. So wear like jeans and a button up, or, if you are wearing Disney stuff, like don't make
Florida
it a tank
casual.
top. Yeah, don't make it like just a tank top. And
You couldn't wear like a Tom and Dan shirt.
No, you could not.
No.
Serious
Also,
question.
Or a
Sam,
semantic
So,
shirt.
so what they do is when you basically they have you line up almost like a pageant model style, and then like the wardrobe person walks around and says, "Yep, you're good. Yep, you're good. Hey, do you have another?" Like you're supposed to bring a couple of more
They
options.
won't let you wear any sort of logo or
Correct.
anything.
No.
Oh yeah,
or
every
advertise-
logo's got to be covered
Also,
up.
Sam, I think you're too normal for a Disney commercial.
How dare you?
No.
I was just saying, Kenny's got the look they're looking for.
look?
No, I'm telling you right now.
They're
Like
like,
a guy, heterosexual man who's LGBTQ confused.
Sam and
That's
Trav,
the look.
Sam and Trav would be
And,
perfect
you don't know. You don't really know.
Kenny.
Yeah.
But Kenny's you're like, where's he
Kenny
from?
could be anything.
He's got
I don't
blue
know where
hair.
he's from. I don't know what he's into. I don't know what he loves.
He looks white, but he's got the eyes.
Oh my God.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Look, he was just using his casting director voice. I'm sorry.
That's what the
Casting directors
do.
are just professional profilers. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Well, they want the mix because they want the families, and then they
Oh,
want.
I thought you said they want the mix, and I was
No.
like, don't say that. Say Irish people.
But they want like the interracial families. They want like the typical families, but then they'll want like a childless couple. So Sam and Trav would be
childless
perfect.
millennials.
Boom, that's you.
Yeah, but they're white. They don't want the white childless
I
couple.
can pass for something else.
Listen, they need at least one white couple.
Tan a lot.
She's a tan. She's a good tanner.
Yeah. But we're
Samantha
a lot.
Tanner.
I'm gonna get there, buddy.
So it's there, and so I would, out of the 5 hours, let's say the first hour you're kind of waiting for security because it is Disney, so they have to like scan you and do all that stuff.
Security, the blue-haired guy's talking to the children again.
And then you spend another 30 minutes to an hour when they do wardrobe with everyone because there's like dozens of us there at a time. And then you're doing the shoot, and like I said, Disney is very efficient. So you're there.
You get to meet Mickey Mouse.
So let's say you probably do. Not the shoots that I was in, unfortunately. But so you're there like the first 45 minutes. It's take, get it done. Then you're on like a 15-minute break. Then you go back in because they reset. Another 45 minutes of take, and then that's it, and you're done.
Question from the chat room. They want to know if there are any heavier or fatter people in any of these commercials, and if you saw any of them, or if you thought that they deliberately, as a corporation, try not to have these people included in their commercials.
So when you submit the information, you have to submit photos of yourself, and you're registered in the system, and you disclose what your weight is, what your height is, and they see photos of you. So if you show up, so that for the Disney Cruise one, there were a couple of bigger people. As crappy as it sounds, they strategically place them around so they're like further in the back and not noticed.
You shouldn't do that. Everybody on a cruise is big.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's
their clientele.
target demo.
I think I'm actually being serious. I think you should include a few more heavier people because.
But they're there. They're there,
Okay.
and you see them.
You gotta
they're just,
do it.
Yeah,
They're
but
just
fat
not,
people don't like seeing other fat people.
They're not. It's not the featured family.
They're like, wait a minute.
That's in the book, The Secret. If you open up the book, The Secret, on page 1, it just says fat people don't like seeing other fat people, and then you close the book and you read the whole thing.
So the pay, it's a couple $100 for it. You know what I mean? Like it's 5 hours of your time, you're getting paid a couple $100, and you
with
get
taxes taken out and everything. Like,
no, you're considered freelance
Wait a minute,
or
aren't you
1099.
supposed to be on strike right now? You're supposed to be on strike. This guy, get him!
Scab!
throw trash at his car.
Kill him! Rip his blue hair out!
I like when they bang on the bus.
Oh, that Canadian! You know that Canadian guy that everybody says looks like me, especially with this hat on, that punches the window?
Oh, yeah.
I love that guy. God, that guy's.
There's
How
an old
did you
video
not break your hand doing that?
of Dan Marino and Tiny Dukes throwing rocks at a bus when the NFL players went on a strike. That's my favorite thing.
You should dress as Dan Marino.
So the shoot at the Royal table was in the castle, but they had to do it obviously after park hours. So we got there at like 10, 11 p.m. At the same time, they were doing rehearsals for the Not So Scary Halloween show. So that was happening at the exact same time. So
that parade is, man, that's probably my favorite parade Disney's ever done. It's so good.
It's weird, though, because after hours, the magic is completely ruined because there's like pickup trucks driving through Main Street. There's like people with ladders, adjusting and cleaning up stuff. As we were leaving the castle, they're doing like the whole show. And it's a guy in the giant Oogie Boogie costume, but just the head. It was just like he was wearing a T-shirt and shorts. You saw the normal human body, but he had the character head on, and he's just dancing around like with just the character head.
I wonder why not just the whole suit is hot as hell. Probably.
Yeah, because these were just rehearsals.
They didn't, the training camp. Not to go back to it, but we did first day of pads, and it was different.
Oh yeah,
the guys are complaining the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Complaining the whole time.
Yeah, because I think for this one, like they'll probably do a full dress rehearsal, but I think a month out before they actually do it, they're probably just doing the choreography. So they wanted to get everything staged out. So it was, again, it ruined the magic. So a lot of the little kids, they were like trying to divert their eyes and not get them to look.
Yeah, wasn't that? I can't.
Don't after me, Tom.
Was that a double?
Yeah.
Double.
Hold on, you
I'm
and
first.
then you
Sorry, my shoulders starting to kill me.
Well, we got to get you some pain pills.
No.
No, we got to get the real stuff.
They gave me some. I'll tell the story in the medium show, but I just separated my shoulder, the other shoulder. Anyway,
you had a great weekend if you had pain pills, though. My God.
Well, no, they don't give you the good ones anymore. No. It's a tiny little.
And they give you the non-narcotic ones, like Celebrex.
Or if all it does is make my doo-doo hard. It doesn't actually take away any pain.
Sam, it gives you all of the worst parts of pain pills with none of the high benefits.
Yeah. I want to fall asleep in my Subway sub.
Yeah. I like.
If they do give you the good stuff,
the best part of pain pills is waking up with a cigarette burning your finger. You gotta stop one.
I've noticed if they do give you the good stuff, they'll give you like 2 pills. They just give you 2. One for immediate.
For my gallbladder, and this
one
was
for the night,
10 years ago. I got 4. That was the good old days.
Yeah. It's like, this is not going to do nothing.
It's unbelievable. Look, I'm all about people getting off of them. I'm all about using medical marijuana to not be addicted to pain pills. But I'm also all about when you're in pain, getting pain pills.
Yeah, and the amount of marijuana you have to take to actually
can
you function?
It's 200 milligrams.
Oh, you got to get the topical stuff.
I don't do nothing.
No, it does. It does.
No.
It does.
I need it in
my blood. You got to get it with the THC. You can't get it with the CBD.
You're not rubbing heroin on the outside of your arms.
When will they start doing an injectable CBD? Like where you can go, because they could do cortisone shots, like let's say in your knee. Could they not do a CBD infused shot directly in there?
Well,
I'm just going back to smoking cigarettes and doing everything. I'm just going to go back to everything.
It has to go into your blood to get into your brain. That's how it works.
What do you think happens when you get injected with something, Tom? Where do you think that goes? Not in your blood?
No, I know it goes in your blood, but there's certain drugs like cortisone or whatever that actually works at the actual area. That's why they injected like a running back's knees, O.J. Simpson's knees, whatever that is. Like,
Dan Hampton. Yeah, it affects the knees.
Yeah.
It's like certain pills that are muscle relaxers will only affect like smooth muscles versus like the other muscles within your.
It needs to go right into OJ's knees for it to work.
Anyway. My dad used to get that, and then I remember my dad getting shots in his knees to play softball, and I remember one day he's like, "I can't play softball anymore because I shot up my knee so much. Now I got crystals in there that hurt more than the original injury." So my dad apparently had cortisone crystals in his knee that built up, and then every time he'd move it, the crystals would break apart and like scatter throughout his body? I don't know.
It's got to be better nowadays.
What's crazy is Brett Favre got addicted to cortisone shots.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was his addiction, was for cortisone. I was like, what the hell?
Because it made his knees feel so good. The guy has been, you remember how hard the NFL quarterbacks used to get hit every single play? It's
I liked it better.
ESPN had a segment called You Got Jacked Up, and all it was just people getting concussions over and over and over
again.
They're
straight knocked out, and people are laughing.
like, look at this guy. His career's over.
In the 90s, there were, I remember I had a VHS tape of the NFL's hardest hits, and it was like
It came free with something. I remember. Yeah.
It was a music montage. It was like
of people getting killed.
Yeah, but it was like shot through the heart. It was like shot through the heart, and then some 85 Bears, it was like the old coach of the Predators, whatever, would come like a spear and hit a defenseless receiver straight in the helmet.
Yeah. Tuck that helmet, rock his helmet up.
Running 4.5 40. Spear this guy. He weighs 230 pure muscle, and he's spearing someone straight in the head.
I remember.
And then they'd be knocked out on the ground, arms stiff, and everybody laughing.
I remember. I remember I didn't read a lot of Sports Illustrated when I was a little kid. Like in middle school or high school. I remember my freshman year of high school was at DeLand High, and we would have these times when you would have to go to the library, and then the teacher would say, check out a periodical, like a magazine, read an article, and then write a short report on it within the hour. Like one of those things.
Yeah.
And one of the things I read, I picked up Sports Illustrated because I'm like, I'll just do this. And I remember flipping through there and finding, and I've never been able to find this guy's name, but he was a player, and I believe it was for the Arizona Cardinals, who was a little guy, and he was notorious for always tucking his helmet, and he was like, he would headhunt, but just literally murder people and hurt people. And he was known as just being like, he was just a bad person. He was like in the game, not to play football, but just literally just to hurt other people. And I remember thinking, whoa, like what is that? And I've never been able to find out who the guy was.
Dude, Sean Payton used to have this open reward for injuring other players.
Take out the quarterback, get $1,000.
This guy would notoriously knock people's heads, helmets off, kept a tally of how many injuries he had. It was like a different vibe, and they were writing about it like it was just like a thing.
By the way, same suspension time as rape.
But don't gamble. Don't you dare gamble. My God, you'll be out for a couple of years.
That's worse.
Oh, God. Calvin Ridley on the Jags is going to destroy some fools with Trevor Lawrence.
He looks really, really good. I've been keeping tabs on him because saw a lot of Ridley jerseys out there in Atlanta.
It's all hype.
So, last thing I wanted to talk about, because I see the time that we got. I talked to Dan. There is a song that I ran across on Sirius XM, and it's an old like 70s R&B song, but it sounds exactly like when Dan makes fun of 70s R&B songs, and it's called Power of Love by what is it?
Joe Simon.
Joe Simon.
All right, you want to hear a little Power of Love by Joe Simon?
But like the voice, the singing voice just sounds exactly like Dan.
Oh, I like this. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, that's good. Yeah, baby.
But does that not sound like when Tom is, or when Dan's making fun
that's
of?
That's good. I'm gonna get me some.
Yeah, baby.
You can improv this song, right? And it would be basically the same.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because I don't think it rhymes. I think he's just saying random lines.
A lot of that music is what I grew up on. I mean, every record in my entire home was Motown. There was nothing of rock and roll. Everything was Sly and the Family Stone.
But like when you're
Isaac
singing
Hayes.
In that voice and someone were to listen to the show, they can tell, oh, Dan is making fun of this person, making fun of this voice.
It's less of a making fun and more of an appreciation.
Well, okay, but they know you're doing an impersonation. That guy's voice actually sounds like that. And so how could you not listen to that and think, oh, he's making fun of someone? Or he's,
it's an exact impersonation.
Listen to me, honey.
I love a lot of the you get a lot of that in like a lot of like R&B and soul music, which, by the way, you get a lot of that in Atlanta. I was pretty happy about that. Just walking around, hit up some record stores. Crazy.
Is there any R&B soul that is being made now?
Yeah.
That is popular?
Totally. It's there's a lot being made now. You could pick up like a Leon Bridges album and
I was gonna say
go to town.
Someone won the Grammy like album of the year, and it was that sort of sound, and I can't remember what his name was. I was something Baptiste, I think was his last name.
Oh, John.
I think it's John Baptiste. But, I mean, granted, that was, but that's more different type of sound than what Tom's thinking of. But, yes, to answer your question, it is happening out there.
And it's the type of music that you're not going to, if someone is playing this next to you at the beach, loud, you're not going to be that upset about it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you ever going to be mad at R&B?
Because it's good.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, this is annoying. It's not going to ever annoy you that much.
Most of the time, if somebody got annoyed, it'd be like a really young person. You know, like, I don't like this. You know, but
maybe it's too old for you, but
most people of average age, you listen to it and you're like, oh, that's really good.
That song is prime for what I like to call mom dancing, where it's just like the 3 steps, where it's just like swaying back and forth, but then moving the arms, moving the hips.
Do couples? I mean, I don't think any of us do. I could be wrong. But do couples or people going out go and like, hey, we're gonna go to dinner and then go dancing?
I just told Trav last night we should go dancing soon.
I've talked to Andrea about this because my mom and dad would go to dinner. My mom and dad were great dancers. I hate it when I look at it now. Like, it was very romantic.
If you
like watching my mom and dad dance, like my dad got laid because he could dance.
If you go to those bars,
you can dance, you can lay.
My dad could dance. He could also ice skate, but he could dance, but he was confident. Like, he would dance with my mom, and it wouldn't even matter what he was spinning around. Like, he was confident.
Hold on. Again, why is there a correlation between dancing and
rhythm?
That is
it the rhythm?
Yeah.
Rhythm is a dancer.
I know I've said this before. I watch the videos, and it seems like there's just a constant, more of a pounding.
Well, that's what you're watching. You're watching the poundings.
Yeah. Like that teacher. That teacher that danced with her student. I saw that video.
No, but I'm not.
That was pounding.
I'm not just searching pounding. It seems like they all
but that's what you've already watched, so that's in your algorithm.
No,
you got pounding
I've had a lot of different exposures to different types. So it's all in the pounding.
But you never see a rhythmic stroking.
I'll be stroking.
not to the
what I be doing.
where I'm like, oh, that guy can dance. Where there's a correlation between dancing.
You're not watching the right
Yeah,
stuff. I'll send you some
right,
vids.
Listen, if it's not
look
on your algorithm, Tom, go to a place that has a cover band, and the cover band is playing your Bon Jovis and your Black Eyed Peas and stuff.
Oh,
you're going to see some 50, 60-year-olds not doing the pounding. They're going to be doing
they're going to be dancing.
They're going to be dancing because it's the trashy.
A lot of hands up and just going hands up
Yeah.
and down like a small mechanical monkey.
And it'll always be like the one single lady dancing by herself, clapping, and then she'll end up like pointing at someone and then trying to like pull them on the dance floor with her.
I said I'm not doing that. My chicken wings are here. Lemon pepper wet.
Yeah.
When's the last time you danced with your wife, Tom?
No, there's only been a couple
I wish
times
I could dance
in
with
my
my
entire life.
father again.
I didn't even dance with my wife at our wedding.
What?
That's not true.
No, I did. We didn't have a first dance.
I didn't know that. And I was at the wedding.
And you didn't dance at all?
No.
I saw Tiffany dancing. Woo! I saw Tiffany dance.
yeah.
Tiffany put on a show.
I may have gotten blacked out. And
I guarantee you did the worm. Guarantee you did the
some
worm.
sort of goof thing, but it wasn't. It wasn't a dance.
I guarantee you did the worm. You probably split your
Did you
pants.
worm it?
Yeah. I'm doing some frat boy joke dance.
You didn't even just put your arms around your wife and just sway back and forth? That's what
No,
I
no.
did. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't call it dancing.
The first dance is always awkward because
I saw
everyone's
you
staring
do it.
at you.
That was so awkward.
Wow, it's the mismatch. Yeah, I'm literally sniffing my wife's crotch and dancing with her.
Get him some stilts.
Tom led the chant. As soon as I put my arm around my wife, Tom goes, "Ew!"
Can we talk about when you remove the garter? The garter? Is that what it's called? Garter. Basically, in front of all your family and friends, you're like, I'm going to stick my head up, I can't say what I want to say.
Well, you made it sound worse. We're just going to put my head under the dress.
Why did you say it as a New Orleans jazz musician, Dr. John?
I had to censor myself.
Stick my leg up.
You're taking it out with your teeth, and then your grandma's there.
Yeah.
Just, like, what are you?
I took my wife's garter off with my teeth and put it on her grandma with my teeth.
But then what's crazy is if you spend more than maybe 5 seconds underneath there, people know what's going on.
You're not doing that though, right?
Yeah, no. But even simulating it is awkward. And then when the guy catches it.
What if she puts her hands on your ears and moves it around?
And then you have to put it on the bridesmaid's leg with your teeth again.
Yeah,
a
I did
stranger.
that. I did that.
Wait, I thought it was the person who caught it has to put it on whoever caught the bouquet.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the groom has to go.
No.
I didn't know that was part of it.
All of these are just tricks to get ugly people married. That's all they are. Back in the day, people were so ugly and dirty, you'd have to throw that stuff behind you, then they'd catch it, and then they thought that was like law. And then they'd get married.
Contract.
Yeah, and that's how.
Did you ever have someone do a little jokey joke, like they'll go remove the garter and then they have tidy whities or something or granny panties and they pull that out and they're like, oh, what's this?
I wanted to do that with my wife. I wanted to do bloody tampon, but she wouldn't let me do that. What? I can say that. I'm British. No bloody tampon.
All right. We're done here. Two Moofs Podcast. Kenny Samsel.
TOOMOOFS.
It's a kind of a real show.
Wow.
So there's that. It's got blue hair.
Yeah, go there.
And you can find it anywhere podcasts are heard. And when's the Drone League come back?
September down in Miami is when they're planning for the first.
You gonna go for opening day? You go to training camp?
Like, let's compete with NFL. The whole season. I guess that it doesn't overlap, right? No. Oh yeah, the guys into drones.
Oh well, they'll do it on a day that obviously they'll be in the middle of the week. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do it on
Sunday
football Sunday.
We're doing it at 9 p.m. Sunday night. All right, Two Moofs, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy. We launching it? Yeah. All right, guys. It is lunchtime, and we'll be back a little bit later to hang with y'all on Facebook and tell you some stories.